A SAG is happening at the box office. Ticket sales were down last weekend, and SAG just revealed its award nominees. Our movie man is here to talk about that as well as give us a preview of The Hobbit. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So what did you think about the nominees? Here's a list of what we have so far. Lincoln, Les Mis, Silver Linings Playbook, The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, and Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, Zero Dark 30 has had a kind of a surprising surge at the top of the awards season we got here going right now. That and Lincoln seem to be the two films that everyone is really sort of taken to nominating right now.
What do you think wins?
It's hard to say who wins right now. I'm leaning towards Lincoln. I think that's going to be the film that kind of strives throughout the award season. There's Daniel Day-Lewis and Tommy Lee Jones and Sally Field. That's three nominations right there, and the screenplay and director are going to be nominated. It's going to probably lead in the nominations, maybe that and Les Mis.
Will the SAG nominations help the box office this weekend?
Not necessarily. These early sort of awards, the critical and these guild awards that come out, don't really have a sort of an impact on the box office. The studios can put on the ads, how many nominations these films got, but they don't really necessarily have a great impact. Maybe it might help some of the surge, like Silver Linings Playbook, some of these smaller films that people aren't seeing. They might take an interest in that, but it's really not going to see a noticeable boost. Here's
what happened last weekend, and you called this Skyfall back at #1, bringing in $10.7 million. Rise of the Guardians at $10.4, The Twilight Saga at $9 million, Lincoln at $8.9, and Life of Pi $8.3 million. Boy, those numbers were low.
Yeah,
those are good movies. Lincoln is awesome.
It's the second week in a row that the studios didn't really release anything major. You had the Brad Pitt movie last week that no one went to see. This week you had a Gerard Butler movie that no one wanted to see. Things will change a little bit this week with The Hobbit.
Coming up with The Hobbit, what did you think? You had a chance to screen it.
Well, I did get a chance to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Bad.
It's a long movie. It is a long snooze of a movie. It's real disappointing considering how much I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, this is a pure example of, I think, pure greed, I think, on the part of the studios.
Well, they broke it down into 3 parts, right?
It was originally only 2 parts. I mean, it's a 300-page book. It's a children's book, for Pete's sake, and they've expanded it into basically, was 2 3-hour movies. Now it's going to be 3 3-hour movies. This first one's 170 minutes long, and it's really about the first 100 pages of the book. So there's a lot of stretching going on. There's a lot of long passages, a lot of talking, a lot of walking, and there's just not a lot of story there to sustain a 3-hour movie. So I think this one's quite a chore to sit through, actually. It's very disappointing.
It will be interesting to see what Hobbit fans do because there's so many people who are very excited about that film, Eric.
Well, they are projecting about a $70 million opening this weekend, which would put it about in line with what Return of the King did in 2003. So, there's a lot of pressure on this movie to do very well. It's going to be curious to see what word of mouth is going to be because I don't think it's going to have sustained as much as the Lord of the Rings did.
Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.